Hello, everybody. How are you? Today, we're going to be talking about something really, really interesting. It is definitely dark stuff: antisocial personality disorders and the extreme psychopaths. Again, very, very mature stuff that we'll be looking at today here. Quick overview of antisocial personality disorders. There's many, many subsets of them. You see the definition there at the top in quotes. And again, all those various subsets, it gets really, really detailed: histrionic, borderline, psychopathic. Psychopathic is what we'll be looking at today. Yeah, the big question: who is a psychopath? You'll see some images pop up here, and Hollywood, our beautiful Hollywood, loves to romanticize these people. And again, this is the dark side of humanity. One thing that I always ask students is what is common with these people that you see here? And oftentimes it takes a number of guesses before someone comes up with, well, they're all male. This is a male disorder. Very rarely do you see female serial killers, psychopaths. It does happen and they do occur, but generally these people are males. Again, think about the mass shootings that happen in our country and around the world. They are inevitably males. There's a difference between let's say, a mass killer, mass murderer, and a serial killer. Serial killers are very, very pervasive and very patterned individuals. This gentleman is somebody that you might be familiar with. John Wayne Gacy was an American serial killer that did his work right here in Illinois, on the north side of the city around the Des Plaines, Niles area, back in the mid to late 1970s. He was eventually found guilty of the torture, rape, and murder of 33 young men, teenagers and young men in their 1920s. Gacy was a clown. That was his side gig. He was a contractor. He was in the construction business, but he was also a clown, and he worked children's birthday parties, and he actually scoped out the birthday parties for his next victims. The bottom left picture is a picture of his basement crawl space where he buried a number of the victims. Again, this man evaded the law for many, many, many years, and he was only caught really due to some really good criminal detective work by the Des Plaines Police Department. Gacy is, again, pretty much as dark as they get. As is this gentleman, Ted Bundy. I know we refer to them, or I refer to them as gentlemen. They're anything but. Ted Bundy was an American serial killer, perhaps maybe the most infamous American serial killer. He, at the same time as Gacy, in the mid to late 70s, was found. His victims were particularly women, prostitutes, women that were sex workers, women that were homeless. He was supposedly an incredibly charming individual, fairly good looking, and he did some of the worst of the worst. So if you decide to delve deep into some of the details here, be careful, because this stuff could keep you awake at night. Ted Bundy was eventually found guilty. Some of his victims, estimates range as high as 100 victims. One interesting note here is that he was particularly fond of biting his victims while they were still alive, and he left teeth marks on their bodies, and in his trial they matched up his dental records with the bite marks, and that was one of the incriminating pieces of evidence that gave Ted Bundy away. He was put to death by the state of Florida, I believe, in the 1980s. And last but not least, I want to share this person with you, Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer did his work, serial killings, in and around Milwaukee. When I was at Marquette University in 1992, I lived about 9 blocks away from Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment. And again, horrific, horrific things. You could watch some news clips from the Milwaukee Police Department. It's a tragedy how they did not catch this person. He was in the inner circle of the law, so to speak, and they knew about him, but they did not apprehend him, and he went on to kill more victims in and around Milwaukee. So it's very, very chilling what happened with Jeffrey Dahmer. Again, all these cases are incredibly disgusting when you delve deep into them, so please, heads up. Jeffrey Dahmer was actually beaten to death in prison. So all 3 of these people no longer exist. So the big question is why? Why do these individuals do this? That's what we'll be taking a look at. You got an interesting video coming up, and then, yes, feel free to do some responses. Keep your chins up, okay, ladies and gents, and have a great weekend.